I am Denice Woller, and this is Distinguished Characters. In this gallery exhibit, you will see the faces of 40 men. They are all ages 50 to 90. They've all impacted my life in one way or another. They have basically dedicated their life to their mission of glorifying God and sharing God's word. And so they have impacted hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals throughout their life. When I reached out to these individuals, I asked them if there was something that helped to tell their legacy. Legacy is a huge portion of what I do day in and day out when I photograph individuals. And I wanted to be able to incorporate that with this series, and that's what essentially pulls it together. They were each asked to write their legacy statement, and you'll find that next to each of these prints. And it helps summarize that story of their life in one little paragraph. I missed my chance with my first subject that I wanted to capture, and the reason for that is because he passed away. Like, he was the top of my list. Norman Madsen was going to be my first model, and I was too slow because I was too busy, and COVID happened, and life in general happened, and I didn't pause and take those photos, and that makes me sad because he's not in this series. I feel the wrong way to interpret the show would be to flat out say, where are the women? Where are the other dynamics, the other demographics? Why are they only white men, white old men? And honestly, it's because that's who I see the most. All of my jobs I've ever had, I have worked predominantly with men. I have been a minority, and so it's what I know. It's who I've been around my entire life. My dad died when I was 19. I was a student here at Bethany, and so I don't have good photos of him, and that's ultimately impacted how I've formed my business and why I do what I do with my legacy work, and also why I started the focus of this on men. Taking time to be creative is so hard for me because I'm torn in so many directions with my jobs and my children and my farm. Forcing myself to pause the rest of my life so I can focus on this has been a good reminder, if not a learning process. It's been a good reminder to do it. These images were all taken within 15, 20 minutes. It was a very fast turnaround time. So I wanted them to feel comfortable, and they are my friends, and that also helped a lot, even though there was a big camera in between us. And so they would move, I would capture their actions, I would capture their smiles, I would capture their laughter. I took maybe 200 photos of each of them. My father-in-law specifically laughs hysterically each time I even say the words distinguished characters. He feels that he doesn't fit that caliber, but he does, 100%. They each do, and that's what I love about the title. That's what I love about each of these men, and the fact that they are here is because they're all distinguished characters. Some of these men came to the studio and they said, I don't even understand what you're doing, but just because you asked me, I'm here. You know how flattering that is? That was amazing. Like, they would just do it just simply because Denice asked them to do it. That was just awesome. And so because of that, that camaraderie and that respect that I have for them, and to know that some of these men have respect for me, awesome. As soon as I thought about the concept for this series, I knew I wanted to print it on aluminum. When I had taken the photos of Sigurd Lee years ago, that's how I printed it, and got such a great response. I knew that that's what I wanted to do for this whole series. Printing it on the substrate of metal or aluminum, it's embedded into the metal itself in such a beautiful and seamless and vibrant way that I knew I wanted to do it on this because of the clarity of the texture and just those characteristics that show through just because of them. There's not a lot of bright light. It's just really much more dramatic, and also that showcases the textures. And when we we think about this age demographic, there's a lot of texture. I am actually giving each of these individuals their prints. They're not paying a cent for it unless they would like to donate to the cause, because it did cost thousands of dollars to print them. So that was part of the motivation to make really beautiful images of these men so that their families can have those. Time is of the essence, and it's just a great reminder of why I do what I do in the first place. Like, what I do every day is I capture the lives of individuals and attempt to capture them in a way to show their families their legacies from now until their great-grandchildren are looking at their albums in printed version, because then they can say, this was Grandpa. As individuals from the community and Bethany and those of you watching this across the country who have no idea what Bethany is even like, I want you to be impacted by this body of work in a way to understand that we all have a legacy, and it's important to show that.